Hello, it's Jennifer Harding Marlin, a citizenship by investment attorney and consultant. Today's video is going to talk about the Vanuatu Citizenship by Investment Program. Particularly in the last 2 months, we've had an increasing number of applicants apply for Vanuatu citizenship. So I wanted to talk about the country, the program, the requirements, frequently asked questions, and just generalized information and how it compares to other citizenship by investment programs around the world. So let's get into it. So Vanuatu is a country located in the South Pacific. It's composed of 83 islands, and in fact, there's a company called the 83 Islands Distillery, which is a rum company. And so a lot of people, when they go on holiday and they visit it, they'll bring back a bottle of rum, or they will go rum tasting on the island, visit the distillery. And it is a really, really nice country. People are extremely friendly. It's often been voted one of the friendliest countries in the world. The capital is Port Vila and the island of Efate. And I recently spent time there, and you could just see how nice people are. Everyone was like right before the World Cup, so everyone had flags from different countries to support the different countries from around the world, and it was just such a great experience. I've always loved my time in the South Pacific, and Vanuatu is probably one of my favorite countries in the world. I could actually see myself living there at some point. That's how much I enjoy my time in Vanuatu. But its citizenship by investment program has been in operation for a number of years now. It is one of the faster options for citizenship. We've seen approvals in 2 weeks, but typically we tell clients that the timeline is approximately between 2 months to 6 months. Vanuatu is a country known for its tropical climates, beautiful beaches, coral reefs, traditional villages, and natural beauty. It gained independence in 1980s. It has English, French, and Bislama as the main languages. So if you're someone that wants to relocate and have your children be exposed to different languages and to learn French, for example, there is this opportunity. The country is a member of the United Nations. It's a fully sovereign country. The program is a citizenship program, so you get the citizenship and passport. It's not simply just a residency program. So you have very similar rights to local citizens. So the investment options are typically a non-refundable contribution starting at US $130,000 for a single applicant or US $150,000 for a family of 4. Depending on the number of family members that will be included, there could be increasing prices, and there's other option that is slightly higher than these price points that I've just mentioned. There's also due diligence fees, agent fees, passport fees, additional fees. We do have a cost calculator on our website and an eligibility checker on our website. If you would like to just get a preliminary overview, we confirm the timeline and all the fees in the official engagement letter, so you have a really clear idea of everything up front, so there's no unexpected costs or anything unexpected as a result of doing this citizenship option. So the application works typically. We get verification from the Financial Intelligence Unit early on in the process if you would potentially be accepted as an applicant for the program. In terms of documentation requirements overall for the program, I'm just listing these off the top of my head, but we provide detailed checklists specific to your case, as well as help you get all the documentation, get everything prepared and organized for the program. But in general, it is valid passport, valid national ID like a driver's license, a birth certificate in long format showing parents' names on it, marriage certificate or divorce certificate, proof of source of funds, proof of business registration, curriculum vitae, like there's application forms and other documentation, but this is just a generalized overview. I touched on cost, I've touched on the processing time, and I've touched on family members, but basically your spouse, dependent children, or qualifying parents. Again, their ages and whether or not they're financially dependent on you are certain factors that come into consideration. So we always do eligibility checks prior to onboarding you as a client, simply because we don't want to waste your time or your money, and we want to ensure and hopefully that you do have success. We cannot guarantee success, but we have never had anyone so far refused or rejected from this program. DES has fast processing. There's no physical presence requirement. There's no language, business experience, or any sort of like history exam required as a part of it. Vanuatu does recognize dual citizenship. It's a very family inclusive program. It's a permanent citizenship. And if you're looking for geographic diversification, then this can potentially be an option for you and your family. It does have lost visa-free travel to the EU and Schengen, and then they lost this a couple of years ago, but it still maintains visa-free travel to a number of countries around the world. Tax considerations, there's no personal income tax. It's a really tax-friendly country, so if you're someone from Australia, New Zealand, or that time zone and want to work from a tax-friendly country, then this could potentially be an option. I personally really enjoyed my time there. Even if you don't do citizenship, but you just simply want to go and visit, I would recommend visiting the country. It's very, very nice country. I've already touched on the documentation requirements in terms of source of funds. What is the source of funds for the investment, and proof of source of funds is required, but we can also discuss that on what your individual situation's like. The due diligence will consider whether or not you have arrests, whether or not you have a criminal background, regulatory investigation, or anything that would cause disrepute to the country will be considered when they do due diligence background checks. Obviously, I'm not the one accepting you. So they will do a due diligence background check. They have cleaned up and are doing more rigorous due diligence background checks compared to the past. In terms of nationality restrictions, is one of the citizenship programs that's more open compared to other citizenship programs. But again, to verify with us whether or not your nationality that can be accepted to the program at that particular point in time. And so I'm going to get into frequently asked questions because we're getting asked all the time, like, how does this compare to Sao Tome and Principe? How does this compare to Sierra Leone? How does this compare to the Caribbean? Should I really do this program or not? So ultimately, whether or not you should do the program is totally up to you. We can provide as much information. We want to make sure that it's a significant, investment in your future. We want to make sure that you're comfortable and that it's a decision that you want to make and you have information to be able to make that decision for yourself. So in terms of how it compares to Sao Tome and Principe, so Sao Tome and Principe is at a lower price point at approximately US $90,000 for a single applicant compared to Vanuatu that's priced at US $130,000. Sao Tome is a newer program, so it doesn't have the history like Vanuatu does. As well, Sao Tome is not a tax-friendly country versus Vanuatu is a tax-friendly country. Sao Tome and Principe is a member of the Community of Portuguese Language Countries. So if you're looking to do immigration in Portugal or Brazil or take advantage of the Community of Portuguese Language Countries, then that's something that Vanuatu doesn't have. Between the two, it's depending really on your personal objectives. If I were to do it for myself, taking into consideration the factors that I would consider valuable for myself, I would lean towards going for myself to go for Vanuatu, simply because I already do have a very good passport portfolio, and Sao Tome and Principe currently limits the number of citizenships that you can have, and so I would not necessarily want to give up one of my citizenships or limit acquiring future citizenships in the future in the event that they don't change the law. They're supposed to, and they're aiming to be able to change the law to allow for more than 3 citizenships, but for this reasons I would go for Vanuatu for myself as well, for the personal income tax and the fact that I could see myself potentially living in Vanuatu at some point in my life. And then in terms of how Vanuatu compares to Sierra Leone, so Sierra Leone is another program in Africa, and we're going to do a video on Sierra Leone citizenship. So Sierra Leone is priced at $140,000. So the price comparison between Vanuatu and Sierra Leone is fairly similar. Sierra Leone has access to ECOWAS, so regional benefits that if you are to do business in the region. And I think Sierra Leone's a citizenship if you are into investing in gold and you're into doing business within that region in Africa, then that may be valuable for you. But if you're just looking to diversify your citizenships, perhaps you may want to go with Vanuatu because it's been the longer history of the program. Vanuatu is more of a neutral country. It doesn't have any sort of history of war or major disputes. And then how does Vanuatu compare to Caribbean programs? Well, I think first of all, we should start from the price point. So the price point for Caribbean is a lot more compared to Vanuatu. The Caribbean starts at $200,000 plus. Some of the programs are $250,000 plus. So it is much more expensive in the Caribbean. With the Caribbean passports, you do have OECS freedom of movement, meaning you can go live, work, travel, reside within any of the OECS countries. You have that facility, versus you don't have that necessarily. You don't have that with Vanuatu. And then the Caribbean does have higher visa-free travel when compared to the Vanuatu passport, although visa-free travel is always subject to change. So those are some of the main differences. And who should really consider Vanuatu? If you're looking to diversify your citizenship, you want to have a Plan B option. You want to do something that does not require a physical presence requirement, doesn't require all that much work on your end necessarily compared to other programs. You want a fast-tracked option that's family-friendly for a really nice country with friendly people. Or if you have entrepreneur or business interests in the South Pacific, this may be something that is of interest to you. But someone else that is also comfortable having travel limitations. So if you're going to go on to renounce your citizenship, be aware that it does not necessarily have the highest level of visa-free travel compared to other passports. And a lot of the times we're seeing passport rankings that rank passports based on their visa-free travel and not really considering other factors such as lifestyle, such as regional mobility, right? Such as taxes, such as benefits that the country can offer, around the world, and there's a whole bunch of different factors that go into considering a citizenship by investment program and considering a ranking of a citizenship program as well. So examples of applicants that we've helped, obviously, we do have client testimonials on our website. A lot of people choose to remain anonymous, but a lot of the times people that do Vanuatu, it's either a family that's looking to relocate for lifestyle purposes, and or a lot of the times it's single applicants that just want to diversify their passport and get a quick citizenship of a safe, neutral, family-friendly country. So again, it's always important to consider the risks and benefits and whether or not it's something that's suitable for you. I'd be happy to have a further conversation about this option for Vanuatu. We're very familiar with the program. You can find more information on our website at jhmarlinglobal.com. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below and we'll make sure to respond. All the best. Bye for now. Bye.